lot of veterans, a lot of military members usually don't do a good job of that because they're not thinking that process. They'll buy the nicest home they can get with 0% down, but then when they go to move or PCS, they're kind of stuck. Like they have a mortgage.
So fast forward, you go and you start working, you're grinding with the end goal in mind. And correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm hearing is that you have the end goal in mind that I'm going to make this money and then I'm going to put it to work. What did that first deal look like when you first put it out there and put it to work?
So the first deal, so I tried to buy a deal when I was in college. I was still like really, really eager, but I didn't have any income. So my debt to income ratio was so low. Yeah. And at the time, I got denied by like 3 different banks and I pretty much, kind of gave up. And even though I was working on these, these job sites, I didn't, for some reason, it didn't like strike me that, hey, I can take $20,000 and do some creative finance. Because what these guys were doing, they were putting little money down, getting a larger loan, basically using hard money. So that's kind of the way that I was trying to go. But I had no verifiable income. So
and do you want to touch on that for a few people who may or may not know what hard money is or creative financing? Because I know we sometimes just assume that people know, but what would that really look like at a high level?
So creative financing and hard money basically is just an alternate way of acquiring a deal without going to a traditional bank, right? So traditional banks usually want, for an investment property, usually want anywhere between 20 and 30% down to acquire a property. And typically that doesn't include any renovation costs and things like that. That's just for the acquisition of the property alone, right? Yeah. Now in hard money, a lot of hard money loans will you can have 35% into the deal or 20% into the deal, just the purchase, right? But they'll fund 100% of the rehab, and you just pay interest only loans, and then you can, after you flip it, you get your money back basically. And then also there's creative financing. If you can find for sale by owners, they might take seller financing. They might take 5% down, or they might just do. There's a bunch of different options with that. You can. Options
is the key word. Yep. And I don't want to take you down the rabbit hole, but I think sometimes we get, and especially this, we go to the bank and they say no to us and we think that's it. All right, that's the NLB. Well, I can't be an investor. But really it sounds like, even from your experience that you didn't have that knowledge yet, or perhaps it hadn't been brought to your attention that there are other options, and no somewhere here isn't no everywhere. You just got to go to the next opportunity. So I guess, is that what you used for your first deal? Was it a hard money, or I'm sorry, you said, I think you were getting to it.
Yeah. Yes. So my very first deal, it was a live and flip. So we bought it with we lived in it. We were stationed at Fort Stewart, Georgia. We bought in a decent place. We knew that we can make some cosmetic upgrades to it. We got it at 0% down. So there was, no money into it, but we also did our due diligence to make sure that if we sold it, or if we rented it out, we were going to make money on the back end, right? So I think a lot of veterans, a lot of military members usually don't do a good job of that because they're not thinking that process. They'll buy the nicest home they can get with 0% down, but then when they go to move or PCS, they're kind of stuck. Like they have a mortgage that's $1,800 and they can only rent it out for $1,700, or they can only rent out. Loss. Exactly. So we did that. We bought a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom townhouse. It was like, 1,600 square feet or something like that. And we made some renovations to it. I actually did a video on that, like the actual property, the renovations that we did.
Okay, and, make sure I put that in the show.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and we lived in that for about 3 years, and then we sold it and made like 30, 40 off of it.
Thank you for watching another video brought to you by my team at Invested Talent. If you're looking to amplify your message and repurpose your podcast content for your brand, make sure you text me personally at 678-679-5613. Text me repurpose at 678-679-5613, and we'll be sure to send a few gems your way so that you can help amplify your message and repurpose podcasts for your brand. We'll see you on the other side. I'll be looking.